This month on Newton Newsmakers, chances are you already know that Seti Warren is Newton's new mayor, but did you also know there's new leadership on Newton's legislative branch of government, the Board of Aldermen? Today, meet Board President Scott Lennon and Vice President Cheryl Lappin, find out what the new leadership team's goals are for the next couple of years, and learn how you can personally get involved in your local government and help shape the City of Newton's future. It's all next right here on Newton Newsmakers.
Newton Newsmakers is made possible through the generous support of First Commons Bank, Beacon Street in Newton Center, representing the future of banking with an inviting environment, the latest banking technologies, and a personal touch to make banking convenient, simple, and sensible. Also at firstcommonsbank.com.
Welcome everybody to Newton Newsmakers. It's Newton's local political roundtable discussion program. I'm Charlie Shapiro. There are 24 members of Newton's Board of Aldermen. 8 are elected by the residents of each individual ward. 16 are elected by voters across the city. The Board of Aldermen has extensive responsibilities and power to affect much of what happens in the city, from zoning to land use, public safety, public facilities, and the approval or potential modification of the mayor's budget. So, the mayor heads up the executive branch of our local government, and the two people with us today head up the legislative branch. Meet Board of Aldermen President Scott Lennon and Vice President Cheryl Lappin, and thank you both for coming in to Newton Newsmakers. Congratulations on being elected President and Vice President of the Board. At least I think it's congratulations. All right, well, let's just start off a little bit. Lyle Baker was president of the board for 6 years. There was a change at the beginning of this year. You were vice president, you ran for the top slot, you were successful. What are some of the things that you see happening over the next 2 years on the Board of Aldermen that people will find either interesting or different or new and improved, as they say?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here, Charlie. And the next 2 years are going to be extremely interesting, especially working with Cheryl and you. We have a number of new colleagues on the board. It's been an excellent experience so far. I think I ran for the top spot to do some things differently that I saw over the last few years. And I think Lyle did an excellent job as president. He brought us through some turbulent times in the city, financially, and some of the other things that were going on. But I think with a new mayor and a new superintendent coming in, some new members of the school committee, the Board of Aldermen, I thought it was a good time to continue some of that change, implement some of the things that I've seen or would like to do over the next 2 years, especially on the communication end of things. I think Cheryl and I have been working extremely hard on trying to really get a feel for how the board operates, how board members would like to see it operate or improved. And I think the biggest thing that we'll be doing over the course of the next 2 years is our interaction with the executive office. We have a new mayor, as you mentioned, Mayor Warren, who hit the ground running on January 1st. And I think Vice President Lappin and I were there on January 2nd, meeting with him, trying to figure out ways to make city government work better for everyone, to be more transparent, and really try to do some wonderful changes over the course of the next 2 years. So it's a work in progress, and we've been on the job now for about 2 months and really trying to get a feel for what board members would like to see moving forward.
Great. So Alderman Lappin, Vice President Lappin, your family's been basically at the core of Newton politics for at least a couple of decades, if not more now. First, let's just, since you don't make a lot of TV appearances, and you're sort of digging into the details and working on a lot of things with the new board president, give people who haven't had a chance to hear from you a little background about you and your family, about the level of public service and the commitment that your entire family has made to Newton over the years.
Oh, okay. Well, my father was an alderman for years, 20 years ago, and then came back and was an alderman again. And I am enjoying serving also. And it's been really exciting working with Scott and getting to finally get some of the things. I've been an alderman for 8 years, and there have been lots of things that I've seen that could be more effective. And it's really exciting to try to implement a new way of doing business. And I think that the board is going to be much more efficient and effective, and we can move things along and get more done. So,
You know, for folks that aren't really sort of plugged into what the Board of Aldermen does, let's bring it back to kind of the intro to Board of Aldermen level just for a minute or two. What, other than being the legislative, in essence, the lawmaking or branch of the government, give folks kind of a general idea in your 8 years, some of the things that you've had a chance to accomplish and work with others to accomplish on the board. Maybe that'll give people kind of a better idea that are just tuning in for the first time on this, with all the new things that are happening, sort of a sense of what the board actually does, what its mission is, and what you've been able to help facilitate.
well, everything from making laws to constituent help, any problems that there are in the city that we see that can be fixed, we try to fix them. Some of the things that I'm proud of for the last, for my time as an alderman, is working with Angino Farm, the Newton Community Farm, and getting that to be part of the CPA funding, and watching it really grow, and that's been exciting. I really feel like one of the most important things we're here to do is to look at the finances and make sure that we're spending the taxpayers' money in the right way, and that the services that people expect are what they're getting.
So what are some of the things that can be done to help work on that the Board of Aldermen can do? Let's turn to President Lennon Scott for a second. Obviously, the city of Newton's in a very difficult financial position right now during Mayor Warren's campaign and during the budget ward by ward discussions that have been going on in the 8 different wards. You know, it's a very sort of disturbing, uncomfortable situation that the city of Newton is in on a financial basis. Yes, we still have the triple bond rating and all, and that's very important for borrowing purposes and a number of other things. But what is it the Board of Aldermen either can do or should do or might do with you as president to help the mayor, if that's an appropriate way to phrase it, get us back into a more consistently strong fiscal condition?
Right. Well, I think there's so many factors that are out there, Charlie, that are affecting the city budget, but not only at the city level, the federal level, the state, and then the municipal level. So I think the biggest thing that we've been trying to do since we've taken over is we meet with the mayor every Friday morning. We each have our own agenda going in. I don't mean political agenda. I mean we bring items to the table each Friday. We talk about what we'll be doing over the course of the next few months. I think that one of the big things that Mayor Warren has talked about, and one thing that Cheryl and I have talked a lot about, is doing more planning, looking down the road. We've got some new colleagues on the board, like yourself, Alderman Crossley, Alderman Fuller. All the new aldermen have brought some. Alderman Fuller's background with the CAG. Those groups had met, Blue Ribbon CAG, made a number of great recommendations to the board for our long-term fiscal health and our fiscal picture. She's come on immediately, tried to bring some of those things forward. I think it's our job to kind of foster some of those ideas, work with the executive office, put everything on the table. I think we're in such a fiscal position right now, not only Newton, but many municipalities, that you need to put everything on the table and talk about them. I think people in Newton are really asking that their legislative body, their executive body be transparent, put items on the table for everyone to see and want to know what you're talking about, why and how their taxpayer dollars are being spent, how they can be spent most efficiently. I give the mayor credit for talking about doing some reorganization in city government, bringing some things forward to the board, through the charter. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, your background, though, in your professional life can, I would hope and think, be very helpful to this whole process. You want to tell folks a little bit about what you do?
Yes, I've been an auditor in State Auditor Danucci's office for the last 15 years. The last couple years, I've actually been a director. And one of the things that's interesting about that position is, in my capacity there, it's auditing based on appropriation. So I work in specific state departments. They get an appropriation from the legislature, $15 million to perform their program. My audit team will go in and look at how that particular agency is spending those dollars efficiently and effectively and for their intended purpose.